Chess is a game of strategy. Two players face each other. Each player wants to checkmate the other player's king. The game is played on a board. The board has 64 squares. The squares are in 8 rows of 8. The squares alternate in color black and white. At the start, each player has 16 pieces. One player has the white pieces, the other player has the black pieces. The players take turns moving one piece at a time. White moves first, then black moves. The game continues until one player checkmates the other player's king. Each player starts with the same pieces. The pieces are 1 king, 1 queen, 2 rooks, 2 knights, 2 bishops, and 8 pawns. Each piece moves differently. The king is the most important piece. The king can move 1 square in any direction. For example, the king can move 1 square forward to an adjacent square. The queen is the most powerful piece. The queen can move any number of squares in a straight line. The rook can move any number of squares in a straight line, but only horizontally or vertically. The bishop can move any number of squares diagonally. The knight moves in an L shape, 2 squares in one direction, horizontally or vertically, then 1 square in a perpendicular direction. The pawn can move 1 square forward, it can move 2 squares forward on its first move. The pawn captures 1 square diagonally in front of it. When a piece can capture an opponent's piece, we call this a check. Checkmate is when the king is under attack and cannot escape. If your king is in check, you must move your king out of check. If you cannot move your king out of check, you lose the game. Sometimes the game ends in a draw. One way the game is a draw is called stalemate. A stalemate is when the player whose turn it is to move has no legal moves, but their king is not in check. Here are a few tips for beginners. Control the center of the board. Protect your king. Think about your opponent's moves. Don't be afraid to lose. Chess is a game of skill. Anyone can learn to play. The more you play, the better you will get.